Hi, good morning. Oh man, it's Sunday morning, the January 5th. And I'm just here, with my Bob Dylan picture. He's traveled around the country with me. I just love that period in his, I can't do the camera thing, in his life where he was like, despite the smoking thing, he was like just so cool. And just like, I'm thinking about the most poetic, deep, thought-provoking lyrics right now. Just sitting around with my friends, vibing in the 60s. I mean, and that looks like early 60s to me for Bob. Maybe early 60s. Anyway, I am obsessed with that man. I've seen him twice in concert. And every time I tell people, they're like, all I hear is, meh, meh, meh. And I'm like, come on already. That's Bob Dylan. What if he didn't have that? He'd be like Robert Zimmerman, which is his original name. So anyway, Agador's already bored with my story. He left. I was going to introduce him, my little co-host, sitting in the co-chat captain chair. But he left me. So Matt went back to bed, which is perfect because then it's like, oh, well, now I'll go into my little dungeon of creativity and dim lighting. He loves lighting, like bright lights, and I love no lights. So I'm like, yeah, you can go back to bed, and I'll just come here and kind of video journal and do a reflection for the day for A Course in Miracles. I do a daily reflection. I'd love to keep that going. I love it so much. I'm only on day 4 and I'm like, I was meant to read this. My face is so dry this morning. It's deep into winter here. We got some snow. We're supposed to get some more. And it was like, I thought there was a wound. There's like a magenta. Oh, it's that light up there. There's a pink light going on. I was like, I'm wounded. Sorry. And anyway, so might as well get on with the reflection, and I'm sure we'll have lots of detours along the way. But I'm sitting here. I've just made the decision to accept an invitation to go to Costa Rica to be a TA, so assistant teaching, for the new cohort that's coming in a couple weeks. And I leave next Wednesday. I booked my flight. This all happened in less than a week's time. So many considerations, so many decisions. Actually, maybe this is just a video journal and I'll do the reflection next. We'll see. Maybe I'll chop it up. I just feel like I got to get this off my chest, So Matt, my husband, he's so supportive. And he weighed in heavily into this decision. A few things. Financial. Like, I really can't afford to be doing this. This was the first time I was like, if I'm meant to do this, give me a big sign. Oh, I gotta tell you about that too. You ask and you shall receive. So, and then, oh my God, I'm looking at my background now. You can see all my tarot and oracle boxes up there. I don't have a problem. So anyway, he factored into my decision big time. Of course, I would be gone a month. And I will be gone a month now that I've made the decision. I booked the flight this morning, January 15th to February 15th. And there were so many considerations. Of course, Matt, you will be here. First of all, he was gone without me 5 to 6 months last year. About 5 months total, 5.5, somewhere in there. And that was a year ago, and now that we've been through that, and I've been gone a lot since then too for continuing ed, in and out of the country, we can get through anything. He was a champ. He was the best. He's the best. And so I know he can do it. It's just does he want to, or is he over that? No, just stay home already. And he looked at me with the eyes of I know this is meant to be, and you love this, and this is your passion. And he's his eyes were just go for it. Believe in yourself. I'm going to cry because I saw that in his eyes before I even finished asking the question. And I was like so grateful for him in my life. Oh my God, I'm getting so emotional. We've been together 11 and a half years. We're going on, oh my God, this year it'll be 12 years in March. And we were engaged a year and a half in. And so then we were engaged for another 10 years. That's all my doing. Trust. Like, not trusting him, trusting myself. And, oh, what a journey that is. Anyway, we got married last year, finally, 2024, June. On our, June 12th, yeah. So anyway, here we are going on our 12-year anniversary of being together, and he continues to amaze me. I grow deeper in love with him. I grow deeper in gratefulness for him, and it just keeps growing, and I'm like, stop already. My heart can't handle it. It's too big. It's gonna burst. And then I started thinking about, you know how much you love someone and you're like, I just couldn't live without them. Like, I hope I die first. You know, I tend to go to dark places, like, not like, oh, they don't make me feel bad. They make me really appreciate life. And so I'm like, I hope I die first someday. And then I was like, oh my God, no, I love him so much. I would want him to go first so he doesn't have to like go through heartbreak for me dying first. If he even loves me an inkling of how much I love him, which I know he does. We talk about it all the time. And so so then it's like, love is weird. Like, I want you to die first. Love is so weird. And then I'm like, I still feel a little of both. It's, you know, I haven't settled on that one, but how did I get here? Anyway, he factored into my decision big time because, like, I just love him so much. If he had even an ounce of please don't go, I wouldn't have. So that was number one. And then number two, this decision would be impacting someone who I love dearly. She was my, she's just, I don't want to give TMI, you know, because it's her life, but I just want her to know if she ever stumbles upon this, because no one's watching yet. Like, I love her so much, and she's amazing. And I was just thinking about her the other day, going like, man, she's amazing. She has all the traits of just like funny and smart, so smart. Oh my God, so witty, and just can be like that dry humor, and like that, she has that love and that sensitivity. She has a passion for life, and the way she eats a meal and can cook up like something, and just like everything is in that moment of just like enjoying it. And I'm like, and she's just got it all, man, just got it all. And I'm like, she's so inspiring, and I just love her. And then to get this opportunity dropped in my lap where I know she wanted to do the same thing, and then I didn't even apply to be a TA, but I was invited down because there is a method to the magic, as they call it down there. There's a timing for everything and for everyone, and depending on the cohort coming in and all of the people and personalities and walks of life that cohort makes up, they really kind of seek for like guidance on who should come in and be a TA for this cohort. And so they asked, she said, like this person who invited me down said, I asked the town, who needs to be here right now? And she said my name kept coming into her mind. And what's weird is, like, first of all, thank you, universe. Like, that's amazing, because I love that place. And this would be my third time down, and each time I've gone down in January, and it's like this magical time. They're going from rainy to dry season, and it's just amazing. And so what's weird though is she'd been in my mind several times in the past week, and then I was like, I don't know why she's in my mind, but I would just stop and thank the universe, like, thank you for her and putting her in the role that she was in with our cohort. And she's just magical, and like the balance of people down there running that school, it's just like, I don't know if I'll say the name of the school, but you could probably guess what it is if I say Costa Rica Massage School. And like, if you ever want to talk, like if you're ever on this path of massage and you need to talk about how that school, I'm a testimonial. We all are. Like, there's no one that comes out of there going, I don't know, it's okay. It's like ridiculous. Once you've been there, you're like, this place is magical. It sets people off on a journey. For me, it really was the cracking open moment of a lifetime. It was like the tip of the iceberg, and it's these past 2 years have been, I don't even have a word. So anyway, so to be called down there when I didn't even apply, when so many others have, because it is a calling for a lot of us to keep going down there, to keep returning home. And so I felt just so humbled and honored and grateful and ecstatic. And then there came the feelings of this person who I love so deeply, in addition to the rest of my cohort who I just love, you know, even though I haven't bonded with all of them like I have this person, and I know she just wanted to do this role so deeply, and then I know she was still on the fence, like maybe it's not the right time, and then we finally, like, so anyway, I was doing that soul searching of like, there's Matt who is supportive, but it's still a strain on the house and him, and then there was finances. Like, I can't afford to be doing this right now. That's a big, like, trust the universe moment. It would have been so easy for me to say no because of finances. Not Matt, because he was like the first supporter and like said yes before I said yes. And then this person who I love, this friend who I'm like, I don't want any hurt or hard feelings over this, you know? And so that was huge. That was that whole people-pleasing part of me that I'm trying to put to rest, and this not taking responsibility for other people's journeys I'm trying to understand, and like the martyrdom of there's been that in the past where it's like I stick up for people so much, like I really like, yeah, there's just a sticking up for people and like wanting to bolster them, and like I sometimes think I go too far with that feeling. I internalize it a bit much, and like I feel like that's my water nature, where I just flow right into people, like this lack of boundaries I've had in the past. And I thought that was a good thing, sticking up for people and like believing in them and wanting the best for them. But then I feel like energetically I would just merge instead of join or meld. I would just merge right in and like feel like into them, and then be like, I think that took me into the darker places sometimes of like, why don't they see this? Why can't they be like this with the way I know they can be? And then I'd be like, ew, that's not healthy. So anyway, that went deep. Those are some of my own parts of my own journey of like, what's mine is mine and what's not mine is not mine. And really, it all comes down to honoring the sovereignty of the person, just like I would want that for me. Like, you don't know me. You don't know my life experience and the way I've integrated that. And I feel like, oh, if I'm not honoring that in somebody else, that means I'm not really seeing them as they're separate, unique, amazing individual they are. I'm just so infusing myself into them, and that's the ego. And then I'm like, I never thought of myself as like an egotistical maniac. And so I'm healing from that. And every day's a lesson in that of, again, seeing things from a fresh perspective. Like really saying to the universe, I don't understand anything. I'm just a wee little baby. Please show me how much greater life can be if I just try not to understand things so much. And anyway, so I'm sitting with that having just gone through all of those feelings of like, it would have been so easy to say no. And I told the person who invited me down that I said, you know, I was even feeling, I'm like, I don't need to be there. In fact, I had so many plans, and there's the universe. Ha ha ha. Trickster energy. You had plans. Watch this. Little opportunity for growth. Thank you, universe. And I had all these plans at the end of the year. I'm like, I took all this quiet time. I'm like, I took all this, the wound. I took all this 2024 to set the foundation of my practice, moving into a space that I'm like, yeah, this is the space. It's like, it's got it all for me to really soar, to launch rather. And yes, last year was like moving a couple times, spending too much money because of that, really going into CEs, continuing eds, that I'm like, I'm really feeling this. I want to incorporate this into the offerings of the service offerings for clients, really being purposeful about that, purposeful about the tools I might want to incorporate into body work. Thanks, Bob. He's just there, like, I'm listening, even if nobody else is. And so this year, I even put together the budget, everything, expense tracking, the continuing eds I want to do for the year, even signed up for one. And it was a big commitment, taking me out of state a few times for a week at a time. That's expensive. Meaning, not only am I not, like, I'm spending money for travel and lodging and food and daily living, I'm not making money as an independent, solo practitioner. So it's a double whammy. It's not like I have paid time off. I'm not there yet. Someday I'll be able to put money aside for that. And I hope. So this is my year of launching. And then I'm like, yay, 2025. And then this opportunity drops in right after I said, universe, I know these things I'm going through. I'm trying to trust. Use me in like whatever way it serves the greater good. I know it might seem kind of cheesy to some people, but I'm really at that place in my life where I realize my plan isn't the best plan. When I get out of the way, this ego takes a back seat. Amazing things happen that I couldn't even predict. Like, I couldn't dream that up for myself. And so I'm like, now I'm to the place where, like, I think I can really try to get out of the way. And then the universe is like, okay, like Super Mario Brothers, you captured the princess on level 1. Now we're going through level 2, and there's a big boss. There's a bigger boss. This is like original Nintendo, because I'm that old. And like, you have to blow in the cartridge and push it down just right. And then you're like, finally, I get to play the game. And then, man, I'm going to breeze through level 1 again, because I already know like how to jump over things and like what to watch out for. And like, I can save that princess so easy this time. And then it's like, oh, level 2's all new. I don't understand anything. Like lesson 3 in A Course in Miracles. We're getting there, don't worry. And then there's going to be a big boss. Well, there must have been like, I must have like been at the end of level 2 when this boss came in. It was like, slay the dragon. This dragon of like taking on hurt and responsibility for other people's journeys, thinking I even understand their journey or predicting how they're going to feel. How egotistical. And then when I reached out to her, this friend who I love so dearly, who this decision I was fearing might bring up hurt feelings, oh, it was hard. And I'm like, I sat with that. Like, I was some soul searching, and I drafted sort of like a text message, a temporary text message to really, like, because if you've been with me, which nobody has, but in the future point, if you've watched my videos, like, I feel like the way spirit channels through is like I start speaking, and then I know, and then it just comes, and then I'm like, yeah, that feels right. Now, maybe someday, maybe this is my baby steps, and I'm a little naive, like, blah, verbal diarrhea. I don't like that term, I'm sorry. But like, you know, just like, blah, get it out. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's how I feel. Whereas before I had no self-expression and I thought I knew how I felt, but I was still all here, not feeling the feelings. Now I speak to heal my throat chakra, which has been a thing. And then I feel, I'm like, yeah, that resonates. And almost before I speak something now, I know it's not in alignment, or it's not resonating, or it's not coming through from a higher source. So that's just like, I knew that I had to sit down and type out that message and really like feel into it. Like, is this my authenticity? Is this how I really feel? And then I was able to step back and be like, the words, some of the sentences I was typing was like I said, I think in another video, sorry, it was like, I think I said couched in apology. Like, that people pleasing aspect, not wanting to hurt feelings, thinking I even know how they're gonna feel, like so ego-centered. And then I stripped all of that away, and what came through was, here are the facts. Where are you? Are you there? Like, when will you be there? Because she's gonna be there at the same time, and I was hoping we could meet up. And I thought, and part of my head was like, earlier was like, oh no, we're gonna be there, and hope, but I want to cross paths with her. But what if she has hurt feelings and won't want to see me? Like, so I took all that out, and it was just ended up to be, here are the facts. When I'll be there, you know, I was asked to be down there. Here's when I'll be there. I said yes, I accepted. And when are you there? And I really hope, if you want, we can cross paths, like we can meet up, you know, in some way. So that's what it ended with. No, like, I'm sorry if I didn't say this, but like, it would have been something like, I hope you're not mad. Like, and then I thought, to be on the receiving end of that takes away that person, like, oh my God, they're projecting. They think I'm going to be mad. Like, they don't know me, you know, that they're, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that feels gross. Gross. I love how young people today say that's gross. Like, and not even to do with the way we in the 80s used to say that's grody, as in like something physical. Now it's like, if something is like really personality, like interrelationally like just off-putting. I love when they say that's gross. So I was being kind of gross, and I was trying to ungrossify myself, you know, and really feel like, as I kept stripping stuff away, I'm like, yes, this feels more and more like in alignment. Like, this is how I really feel. Like, here are the facts. This is my journey. I feel like the authenticity, it felt like it was coming through. This is why I made the decision. And like I said, there's more to the story about the why I got to this point in making the decision to go. Meaning, like, the story's here if you want it, and I'm ready to chat. But like, I'm not gonna apologize, because it's not that I don't feel bad. I still have that, like, you know, I know she wanted this also. And then, so I still have that feeling of like tenderness about it, but it's not like the apology part wasn't authentic, because there were other situations, like, what if it was an either or? What if I was taking her place, but they assured me that no, it's not an either or. It's just the way they seek guidance, and my name happened to drop in, and her time might be another time. And then and so it's like, because I knew that if I was taking her place, if it was an either or, and I told this to my husband when I was like voicing it, I was like, it would be a hell no, I'm not going, you know. And I felt that, and I'm like, okay, that really shed some light on like my true intentions and alignment and authenticity about my decision to go. And it was all based in like leveling up, and really, I keep pulling the vow card from the archetypes deck. Like, you made a promise, now you got to follow through, or you really got to do a ceremonial thing to undo the promise, undo the vow, which my promise was, I trust, I'm listening, use me. I literally said all those words. That was my vow. And then Spirit was like, boom, Like, here's the next Super Mario level, the dragon at the end, whatever level that is. I can't remember. I only played 10,000 hours of it as a kid. And then I was like, to say no to this. Okay, and knowing that I didn't need to be there, like it was, you know, those decisions where it's like I love it there, but given the finances, my goals for this year, and I'm off and running with my practice, I'm getting referrals, things are just starting to jive and thrive. And then the financial, the interpersonal stuff I was originally worried about and like felt just, really hard. And just not even having applied when so many others had, I just thought, I don't need to go. In fact, it'd be kind of hard on me. Like, it'd set me back a bit financially and for my goals for 2025 and all that planning I'd done. And then, but the bigger part of this was this journey I'm on of healing and just knowing myself on a deeper level and stepping into authenticity, even finding out what that word means for me. Like the whole, like, not playing small, like play into your big story. Don't play small for everyone else. And that's what I've done my whole life out of fear of hurting them. And that means that whole, and I feel like this whole like deeper layer of it is not just like, oh, I'm scared to hurt them. It goes deeper, as in, that's an ego thing. It's not me playing the good guy. It's me playing like the gross guy. I'm infusing so much of my ego into them and not honoring their sovereign personhood. Sovereign as in you are your own entity. Like, you're a soul, I'm a soul. In the greater non-duality aspect, we're all one soul, we're all one. But in this relational world, like, you're sovereign, I'm sovereign, and we need to respect that of each other. And I thought I was doing that my whole life, but this whole like, oh crap, what a mind trip it's been this past week of that real deep learning. And so that was my next level unlocked. Like in video games, like, what do they call it? Like, something gets unlocked, like the next level of something, of growth, of challenge. And then it's like, ooh, that's what I wanted. That's what I asked for. That was my promise, my vow, my commitment. And now I feel like that is a deep surrender into like humility of just saying, I got to keep getting out of the way because I asked to be used. And then what I've been grappling with is that whole like, is this relationship because I was always a skeptic. I was not religious. I don't think religious and spirituality are the same thing. I know that. But, like, I didn't have a belief system, whatever that is, religious or otherwise, like traditionally, like religious faiths. I didn't have any of that. I was just like, and at one point I was agnostic. And then at one point I was like, is atheism a thing that I believe in? And like, I think for a while in my early 20s, I thought maybe that's for me. And then I realized, wait a minute, no, that doesn't feel true. That doesn't feel true because atheism, I read about everything my whole life apparently. And it's like, no, atheism is a deep belief system in knowing there is no God. Whoa. And I knew even then, I'm like, I don't know. If anything, I'm more agnostic, like the I don't know-ness of it all. And so I still like feel like I don't know anything. You know nothing, Jon Snow. That keeps coming back to me. Oh, Game of Thrones. Sorry. We're weird in this house. You know nothing. And so I don't know anything. And yet I have moved beyond the agnostic of I don't know and I don't have a relationship to I don't know and I do have a relationship. Is that relationship, what is it based in? It's not this physical reality. It's not in like anything that makes sense to anybody but myself. Like I like in my search, I'm like hearing other people's stories and I'm like, that really hits hard. That resonates for me. I think I might believe that way too. And like it's been an evolution. I didn't just come out of the womb saying, hi, spirit, and like having my own deep, authentic relationship. I kind of was like, hey, I need to see what's already out there and see what resonates. And now it's like evolving into having it in my own authentic way that I don't see out there in the world exactly like it looks for me. There are elements like calling something spirit because it's what's that word I love so much? It starts with an E. It's not ethereal or esoteric, or it's a word I love and forgot temporarily. Anyway, it is something you can't really grasp with the brain. It's not a conceptual thing. It is something beyond myself. And I do, like, God is the word. But because God still has that twinge of, like, if I say God to people, again, this is me taking responsibility for the way other people think. Stop it already. I feel like words are important. Words have vibration. Words carry vibration and land in somebody and it vibrates with them. You know, it's a real thing. It's science. As if science real. Science its own religion. So anyway, I truly believe like words matter until they don't. And I'm on that journey of like, spirit is what resonates with me right now because I know we are all of a nature, like we are all, this is my belief. We come here and we are spirit essence inside of a physical body. We're not a physical body that has a spirit essence inside of it. It's the other way. Our body is inside the spirit. And all of that spirit energy, all those different layers and dimensions of it are all around us. And our dense physical body is just somewhere in there, expressing itself in this 3D reality. Even that whole 3D, 5D thing is loaded. So what I really mean is in the physical. So this relationship I've been developing is really growing into a direct conversation. And I guess people call that prayer. I'm so hesitant to use loaded words because of the way they land in people. And you know what? Maybe I need to give that up and just say God with a capital G. I don't say the he, she thing though, you know, it's like, I just say God or spirit. And I think the way that I say spirit, now that I'm really feeling this, again, I don't know how I feel till I say it, like to say spirit really helps me stay in the gender neutralness of how I really feel about it. Like gender's our thing, you know? If you're a spirit in another dimension, if you're this, whatever that word is that I can't remember, then there's no gender. That's ridiculous. Like, if we're out there, I've talked about before, I truly believe, like, we choose to come here to learn things on Earth School. Spaceship Earth, as little Buckminster Fuller would call it. Oh, I love reading his books. They're so, like, dense. And, like, I love him so much. I need to go read some more maybe today. Just a little snippet. Too many other things to do. Finishing this video being one of them. So, it's like, I truly believe we come here to learn things on this Earth School. And we are out there genderless, formless. Like, we're just of another nature I don't even get entirely. has something to do with the, whatever that word is, I can't remember, nature of things. And yeah, because we're all one, we're all God. And whoever I'm talking to is God in some sense, in some layer of it all, in some dimension of it all. And people, I like go on YouTube and read books, and like these people who have their own relationships come back through these literal channels of like YouTube channels, the channeling of books and all of that. And they relay their experience of the nature of this, like whatever, however it is for them. And a lot of times it's as if this is the way. This is like my truth is the truth. But I know that's not true. You know, it's true for them, and that's wonderful. And so I'm to a point of reading past, like I can see the truth in everything I consume. There's truth in everything. I gotta do a video on my ayahuasca journey. It was last year, and one of my journaling, you know, you go back to your space after this night of like, oh, don't worry, I'll do a whole series of videos on it. Don't worry, like you're just dying to hear about it. Anyway, don't you worry, I'll get there. But you go back and you journal and just like try to remember everything that happened in the pitch blackness of the ayahuasca journey, which is you can't put to words. So you try your best. And one of mine was like, everything's true. Everything, literally everything, every thought, even though thoughts aren't true, but every thought is true. There's like truth in everything. There's like everything's true because everything's a paradox. I love paradox. Both sides of every coin, everything's true. And where was I? So anyway, when I watch people read books, I read it as their truth, and I pick up what they're putting down. I don't pick it all up. Of course not. No one should pick up everything. You shouldn't pick up everything I'm putting down. You might be like, you're a little bonkers. But I like these other parts. I don't know, whatever you think. I'm not here to tell you what you think. You're your own person. So, like, that was such a big learning for me. Like, yeah, I don't have to just I don't like this phrase, throw the baby out with the bathwater. Poor babies. I gotta find a new one. Like, you don't have to just chuck it all out because you don't agree with one little thing. Like, pick up what resonates. Discard the rest, as all the tarot readers online say. Like, there's truth in everything. Pick up your nuggets and integrate them in your own life. And then the way I've been doing that is like, now I have my own relationship. I still point up, and even I laugh where I'm like, you're probably right here, like on my face. And I'm like, hey, out there. I don't know. It just, this act of like doing this whole whatever this motion is like, you know, reaching beyond myself. That's what it is for me. It's like beyond myself, instead of saying, oh, spirit, like part of me. It's part of me, of course. But like, it's an act of reaching beyond myself, pulling it in. That's where I'm at on this journey right now. And I can't wait for it to evolve. And I think that's been the big learning for me after, like, beyond the initial spiritual awakening, is some people call it the Kensho. I think that must be a Japanese word in Zen Buddhism or something. I don't know. Just a baby here learning things. That whole path, I did explore Buddhism early on, like well before my awakening, and I liked certain aspects of it. I even did a 10-day Vipassana retreat. Whoa, that was big. But it wasn't the end all be all for me. It was like steps along my path. And I feel like I watch people and they get so entrenched in the practice of meditation and Buddhism that, like, I was listening just last night to a podcast that said, like, I feel stuck. And somebody was like, yeah, like, that's some intense practice you're doing, and that is your whole world. Like, it's time to maybe let go of the reins a little bit. You know, they didn't say that. That was my interpretation. So, you know, whenever I've always had this, like, that, like, there's been some deep knowing, like, what resonates and doesn't, even though I never used those words before. And so I always knew that grasping too tightly to something to say, this is it, was not quite right for me. And so when I started to do that after the initial awakening, where I was like, finally, this is it. And then the shadow work really began. A lot of it began during the awakening period where I was like excited, like, oh, shadow work. Yay, yay, yay. Let's heal all this stuff I've known I need to heal. But then the shadow work came of like, there's stuff I don't know that needs healing. And that's a very humbling experience. It's, by the way, Cliff Notes Ayahuasca Retreat, Part 2. When I asked Spirit in that moment during like the set, there were 4 nights, 7 night total, but they space them out. And so the second night that we did the medicine journey, I said, well, if I'm supposed to work with energy and have this relationship with this essence, whatever it is, I didn't even call it spirit then, how do I work with it? Show me the way. You know what landed in that night? And it was so, I mean, there's nothing like an ayahuasca trip. It is intense beyond belief. And what landed in was seared across my everything was the words, through humility. And I was just melted into oblivion of like, you know how it manifested. The next day we had a complete day off, no journeying, just pure integration. And like, thank goodness, because the question I asked and the answer I got the next day, I literally didn't say a word to anybody. And I put on that I am in silence button they give you, because I was like, I felt such like this humility like I've never felt before. Like, dude, I didn't think I was going to talk about this, but it's wanting to come out. Like, the humility of like, even speaking a word is like too much for the reverence I feel for everything beyond the veil, as they call it. Beyond the veil of this illusory nature. And to speak human words, like from the human ego, is like, I had never felt that humility before. It taught me such a lesson of like, whoosh, and obviously it's still in there. I'm so grateful for that. Sometimes, like, when I'm not feeling into it like I am in this moment, God, you're witnessing something here. Like, I want to, like in the morning, maybe when I'm doing my stretching and I have a few extra minutes to like sit in child's pose, but then something tells me to like put my forehead on the ground and put my arms backwards, like true, like melted into the ground humility. And sometimes little flashes of this will come back and I'm like, yes, I am just not, I am nothing, because I don't believe that it's a I'm nothing. It's a deep, just like some otherworldly profound reverence for everything beyond my ego state, like beyond me. And so that through humility is like, that's how I want to move through the world. Not at the expense of my own sovereignty. Back to like full circle here. Like, to honor the other is to honor the self. But with this humility of like beyond the self.
Like this use me nature of things, like let me be of service, which was another card we pulled last night, didn't we? If you watched those readings, like just let me be of service, use me in whatever way for the greater good, because you know what, this whole it's all related and it's all happening now for a reason. Like, why did I start reading this book now? That's just one little piece of all this journey I'm on, but everything keeps coming back to those lessons of like, I don't understand anything, and I'm so grateful for that, because whatever man, I feel like if I get out of the way, ego, if I just go into that humility, like really feel into that and be like, I can't even dream up. I couldn't even dream up the magic and the synchronicity and the miracle, there's no other word, just like that can happen if I just get out of the way. So many people say, use me, and then those are the people following their passions, and those are the people performing miracles every day. Like, I have this abundance of something, not just financial, but I have this abundance, let me share it with you. With somebody who doesn't have that or have it yet, it's like, that's what that book talks about. That's the nature of miracles, that I temporarily have something and you temporarily lack it here, right? They call that's the nature of miracles. And so I just want to be part of that equation, through humility. Like, however, and so full circle, this decision to go down, that was that. Like, I made a vow, I need to honor it, and I need to trust that going through the hardship of this interpersonal stuff, which turned out not to be a hardship, and then definitely the financial hardship, which will be a very real hardship in my life, maybe for multiple years. That's like how big this is. I just have to trust that it's all for some person, some greater good. It may not even come back to me, and I may just be here in 2026 just doing the work, paying off debt. Who knows? But then what I do know, because of how things land in the body, is I'm not worried about that. Not really. And that brings me so much gratitude. Like, thank you for not planting that seed of worry, or letting me plant that seed of worry. Like, I just have this feeling like I'm not even voicing, everything's gonna be fine. It's just, I truly feel it. Like, there is nothing to worry about here. I'm stepping into this, really committing to that vow. And this may be ultra cheesy, and maybe I just go down there and have some good times at the beach and help some students by being a teaching assistant, but I feel like something big this is for a reason. And if it isn't, hey, I had a great month in Costa Rica and nobody was hurt, going back to my old way of thinking, like, I'm a people pleaser still, so I've uphold that ego part of myself. And the only hardship would be financial. And you know what? It's just money. Who cares? So, yeah, that's this. I do want to end with the reflection piece of this on A Course in Miracles. It's all been a reflection, honestly, on the Course in Miracles. Lesson 4, which was, I have to open my book and read it to you so I get it right. Lesson 4 is, these thoughts do not mean anything. They are like the things I see in this room. They don't mean anything, which was lesson 3 for the prior day was, I do not understand anything I see in this room. I've been saying that for 2 days now. I do not understand anything. And then to go into, just like that, not understanding anything in the room, we can go into say, these thoughts do not mean anything. I'm going to peek ahead of lesson 5. Yeah, that's a good one. I can't wait to read that. But it's also like, I don't even understand my thoughts. They don't need to be understood. They're just like flowing through, and I latch on and I'm like, oh, and like, why? They're just floating through. Let me get on with my purpose. Like, I never had purpose before, and it's starting to come in, and that's the reflection, is these thoughts do not mean anything. They're like all the things that I see in this room that have no meaning, and I do not understand them. And thoughts are of that nature. They're so, what's the word? It's not ethereal. It's not effervescent. It's, I'm going to look it up, and if you see a word at the end of this, and then you're going to be like, she did it. And then you have to go rewatch the video and plug that word in wherever. I'm like, what is it? So, yeah, when I look at like, these thoughts do not mean anything, because our thoughts are all about trying to make meaning, right? And the thoughts themselves don't mean anything. It's just like what we infuse into, like when we grab hold of the thought and really be like, like then the meaning starts to emerge. We infuse it in there. But on their own, I'm thinking about, sometimes a thought comes through of like, I wonder if my cats ever get bored. I mean, they don't even go outside. Those poor babies. I just need to do stuff. Like, maybe I need to play with them more. Do I need to, oh yeah, I probably need to change the battery in the laser pointer. Oh, they don't even play with the toys they have. Are they depressed? Like, and then you're like, where's the time gone? And have I really done anything? Have I affected change in any way? No, I haven't. I've sat here. I've not done anything purposeful. I've not like manifested anything in this earthly 3D life. I've sit here and ruminated on if my cats are bored, and you know what? They're just over there taking 19 hours of naps, just living their best cat life. They're not thinking about me, and if I'm bored or like living my best human life, they're like, hey woman, feed me. I want some snacks. You know, and that's another thing I have to say is I read somewhere like to look at something in a new way, like this course, it's all related, like A Course in Miracles talks about seeing things from this other perspective without meaning, you know. And it's like when I look at an object, and you know, I love to personify things because it's like, it gives me sort of a compassion for, I have such a compassion for, I love, oh man, I gotta make sure I lay some breadcrumbs for myself. Where was I going with this? I love thinking about, not just physics, but like, subatomic particles, and like, I'm even forgetting that word because I've tried to leave some breadcrumbs. I have menopause brain. You knew that. So it's a real thing. And so I love thinking about how like matter can't be created or destroyed. What is here. We only change it. We recycle. We reuse. We melt things down. We turn things to steam for energy. It all changes, but it starts like, we don't just like, boom, new particles in the world, Although maybe that's what they're trying to do with the Large Hadron Colliders or whatever those are called. We can't go down that track. That's another sidetrack. So anyway, when I really personify things and really have that humility and that sense of like deep gratitude for all that's here for us to learn from and with and use and transmute into our own manifestations of like purpose in the world. Like, how do I want to use like matter? I do crafts. I love making things.
And I think about the gratitude I have for every little subatomic particle. I'm like, oh, you're just trying to be the best little particle you can be of service. Like it's just there for us to use. And sometimes I'm like, oh my God, like this roller ball in my mouse, you're just sitting here day in and day out being the best little roller ball you can be. You're not breaking down even. Like a lot of things have a shelf life. You are like, you've been with me for years. Oh, and it feels so good. Like I just love, like I read this book and they did this equation of like there are this many atoms in the world or something like that, like subatomic particle type things. And sorry, I'm sweating. Hot flash, menopause brain. Oh, so it said like, and then I looked at that number, which was like 10 to the 0, 10 0 to the 10 to the whatever. I mean, it's a lot. We have a lot of particles. So I'm like, and out of all those, some of them chose to become this. And so to know that we only have so many of something in the world, in the universe, and that so many of them, which there are a lot of particles in this thing, really, like probably billions, came and said, I want to be this roller ball for you. And I'm like, oh, thank you. And so again, this whole paradox of like things beyond myself, like, and also this doesn't have meaning. You're just a friggin' roller ball. No, you're not. You're special. But you know, like, this doesn't mean anything. It's also true. It doesn't mean anything. And then to also have the gratitude for like all the particles in this room that bring me so much joy and I get to create with in like my little creative space. Like up there is my my sewing supplies and my printer that my husband gifted me because he knows I love to print and make booklets and like words and poetry, and there's my paper cutter. I think he got me that once a long time ago. And you know how many pieces of paper I've cut with it to make things for people, like gift cards and bookmarks and crafts. And so I just think, oh, all the particles in this room. So I've got gratitude for them. And then I read somewhere, this is where I was going with this, that these things, everything, us too, just wants to be the best of that thing it can be. I just want to be the best human I can be. I can't be anything beyond a human, right? That's what I signed up for. That's what I am. I want to be the best one of those I can be. And this little roller ball wants to be the best little roller ball it can be. And it's doing a great job. Let me tell you. We'll put it back in its little home. And so, you know, and like everything just wants to be the best. Like this card is the best little card it wants to be. And that gives me a sense of humility too, like for the sovereignty of the other person. Another full circle. We got a lot of spiral circles in this. Like, remember the spirograph from the 80s? I'm old. And like, I feel like, and they're all like overlapping and interconnected to build some beautiful mosaic. And it's like with different colors. And I feel like all of this is all full circle. It's all true. You know, it's like the reverence for the other person and the respect and honoring of their personhood is like, you're just being the best you can be. We all have our shadow work we're doing, or someday we're going to be called to do it. And like, you're just where you are now, who you are right now is the best version of you could be. And if you feel like it's not the best version of you could be, that's okay, because you're right where you need to be. Because you have that feeling that there's more to be unlocked. And that's a breadcrumb on your journey. I still feel like there's more. I'm just less in a like down, depressed, desperate state about it. Now I'm in that like there's more. And I do feel there's still stuff I don't know that needs looked at. And I think, like, I don't feel scared, but I feel a bigness about it. Like, it's gonna hit hard. Or what do I say? Like, it's gonna hit. Yeah, it's gonna hit. It's gonna hit in a different way. But I'm excited for that journey of trying, like, knowing there's more to come. There's just more to come. If you feel that, more is gonna come. That's the nature of it. Just keep following your breadcrumbs that you've left for yourself when you said, I'm gonna go down to earth and do these things. Here are all the breadcrumbs. We come in and forget, and it's a path of remembering, following the breadcrumbs back to ourselves. And so I just truly believe that. And like, yeah, Course in Miracles, all these thoughts don't mean anything. My throat gurgled again. I think that means, you know what I'm taking that to mean? It's a sign to stop. We're right here in an hour. My hand is going numb. Like, I just thought it would be a little reflection, but my hand has been holding this phone for too long. Anyway, thanks for being here for this spirograph of a reflection. And I hope there was a nugget in there. And it's like, these reflections really are like a video journal of, like, someday I'll look back and be like, what was it like when I was just a wee little babin on this spiritual awakening journey? You know, like, I might want to come back and be like, oh man, she was cheesy. She was weird. That's okay. That's where I'm at today. And it's just great when other people see you for that and can respect it. And that's what I hope to do for other people. And yeah, that's where we are with this reflection. These thoughts don't mean anything. They're just here and they're gone. And we lived through them. Like, they don't mean anything. They're not here to grasp. They're here to just, oh, cool. Oh man, I just want to say I love you guys, and I do. Whoever you are watching this, like, there's just so much love and gratitude. Isn't that crazy? There's no one there yet, but because you're watching this at some point, you're there. So I want you to feel that through time, which really can happen. Time doesn't exist. These thoughts don't exist.